Good Shabbos, good Shabbos, good Shabbos, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of powerUP Power Up. And get ready to power up your Shabbos, up your life. And only good things. This week's Parsha is Parshas Chukas. And it starts off by speaking, it's usually a double Parsha, it's usually Chukas Balak, but this week we've got a little bit of leisure. It's only going to be about, it's only a Parshas Chukas, and it speaks a lot about different purities. Chukas itself, it starts off, this is the chok of the Torah. What is a chok? A chok is, there's two things in the Torah. There's something that we know as a chok, and there's something as we know as mishpatim. Mishpatim is laws. Those are things that we understand. For example, that was a different parsha, mishpatim, which is normal laws. We understand them. You can't steal, you can't kidnap, you can't kill, different business transactions, etc. These things are all things that we understand, and that's a mishpat. A chok is something that we don't understand. It's just a decree from Hashem, and we don't understand them. That's the whole point about it, is there's certain things we don't understand. It's just a decree from Hashem. Even mishpatim, even though on a simple level we could understand it, normal laws we could understand on a simple law level, you must just know that because Hashem has so much wisdom, in the deeper you go into it, you'll understand on a certain level. It's just something that a normal human intellect cannot understand, right? So chok, it's also important to emphasize that a chok is not that it's something we don't understand, it's something retarded. It's not at all. It's something that if we were to be as intelligent as Hashem, or if we were to have tremendous wisdom, we would be able to understand. But for a normal person's intellect, that is something that we don't understand. That is something that's very important. In fact, Shlomo HaMelech, the wisest of all men, knew each and every single chok, those laws that we aren't supposed to understand, but Shlomo HaMelech actually understood every single one of them, except for Para Aduma, which is the red cow, which we understand, which is at the beginning of this week's parsha. Like we know, somebody who's been in contact with dead, they become impure. In fact, we are all impure until the days we find that we get the paraduma, the red heifer, and that time we'll be able to purify ourselves. But Shlomo HaMelech, this was the one mitzvah that he couldn't understand, this purification of the red heifer, the paraduma. And he even understood everything about it. There was just one thing he couldn't understand, and that is that the person who sprinkles the ashes from the paraduma, from the red heifer, he becomes impure, even though he's the one that's busy purifying somebody who's impure. And that person who receives the ashes becomes pure. So he couldn't understand, how is the purer able to become and the one that's purifying, how does he become impure, and the person who was impure becomes pure through the same process? Otherwise, he understood every single thing of that, and he didn't understand that. And this thing, in fact, Hashem told Shlomo HaMelech, you know what? Moshe Rabbeinu even understands this, and in the future, everybody's going to understand that. But you, Shlomo HaMelech, you're the wisest of all men, you don't understand this. And Hashem kind of made fun of him like this. But the truth is, it's not that he was making fun of him. He was actually just emphasizing there's certain things in life you don't understand. And this is a very important lesson for us to know, is that there's certain things in life that you just don't understand. And this is actually significantly said by the paraduma, by the red heifer, which comes to purify somebody at contact with a dead person. Because usually people that are in contact with a dead person, they don't understand. It's usually a very painful experience. They just don't understand, why is it this loss happened to them. And but so that's one stuff specifically over here with the paraduma and the red heifer. It's something that we don't understand, because we remember that just like the red heifer, we don't understand how it purifies the impure and impures the purifier. But specifically over here, it's something we don't understand, to remind us that even by all dead cases, we just don't understand. So this is an amazing thing, and this is the Torah, the pasuk in the second sentence of the parasha. Zos Chukas HaTorah. It's actually the chok of the entire Torah. Why does it add in the word that it's the chok of the entire Torah? It's the law that we don't understand in the entire Torah. So it's also, once again, it's just to emphasize that everything in the Torah is something that we don't understand. There's also another importance to why we need chukim, mitzvahs that we don't understand, and that is that it's important that when we do mitzvahs, we don't do it just because we understand them. The reason why we do mitzvahs is because Hashem told us. So if a person is going to come along and tell us, no, I only do mitzvahs that I understand, so then he's really saying that I do it because this is things that I understand and I worship myself. If he's, so it's important, and it's important to do mitzvahs that even if you don't understand them, because through that you show that even the mitzvahs that I do because I understand, the only reason why I'm doing it is because Hashem told me to, and that's of course the reason why we do all mitzvahs. The reason why we do all the mitzvahs is because we have an obligation to Hashem, whether it's out of pure love and gratitude, or whether it's an obligation because we owe our lives to Him, and we're servants of Him. But that's the reason why we do mitzvahs, because Hashem commanded us, and the reason why we understand them, when the mitzvahs that we do understand is actually just a gift from Hashem that we do understand, because through those we're able to get closeness to Hashem through understanding Him, and we can appreciate them more. Okay, moving right along. So it mainly speaks about, at least the beginning, speaks a lot about the mitzvahs of purifying and impurifying. And if you look in the 16th pasuk, it says that any open vessel which does not have some sort of samit basil, doesn't have a ceiling, is tameh, is impure. So our rabbis teach us that what does it mean, any open vessel? You can learn up according to Drush, you can say any mouth that doesn't have any ceiling to it and it's just always open, that is impure. That's the vessel we're talking about. Any person that has a mouth that doesn't have an ability to keep shut, that is something that is impure, and that's the way that you could read it. Any open mouth that doesn't have a ceiling is impure, because our mouth needs to, you have to know when there's certain times that you have to shut the mouth. So that was in the 15th pasuk. Just moving one pasuk behind that, because it's also got a very important lesson. This is the Torah, a man when he dies in the tent. And it goes on to say, like, when you're in the same room of a person, of a dead body, that become impure. But it's quite interesting that the way that the Torah says is, this is the Torah, a man when he dies in the tent. Why is it that it says it like this? So there's the rabbis learn from this is that a person who wants to learn Torah needs to kill himself for it. That's what this is the Torah, a man when he dies in the tent. This is a way of saying that when a person, if you want to really become great in Torah, you have to kill yourself for it. So this is quite difficult to understand and needs a lot of understanding, because we know that Torah is a Torah's Chaim. Torah is a life of is a way of the living. You're not meant to kill yourself for Torah. What does it mean? So there's a lot more to be said to understand this. But just as a side idea, a way that a person could learn this is that there's a famous story of the Rashash, who was a businessman. He inherited a business and basically he was also a great rabbi, and he spent his entire day learning. And the one time his wife was manning the store while the Rashash was busy learning, and there was I think he sold rags or something like that, garments, and some soldiers of the king came in to the shop and said, like, we're looking for this. We got a massive order. We've got a tremendously big order for the king, for these kind of for these kind of garments, and this kind of cloth or whatever it was. And the wife's like, wow, this is so big. Like, I'll for sure take, we're ready to sign the deal. But the soldier said, but there's one issue, is that the owner of the business needs to sign. It can't be the worker. She's like, what do you mean? I'm the wife. Like, surely this would be enough. And they're like, no, the owner needs to sign it. And like we know, the owner was the Rashash, and he was busy learning. So she went up. She's like, this is such a big deal. I have to disturb him. She went up to the to Rashash, wherever he was learning in the attic, and she told him, like, there's a big order here of soldiers from the king. They want to buy this kind of cloth for the king. Such a big order. And the Rashash is like, no ways, I'm busy learning, I'm not coming down. And she's like, what do you mean it's such a big, what am I meant to tell them? They're going to kill me, they're going to ask me where the owner is, how can we disobey the king? She's like, well, he's like, I can't, no ways, I'm busy learning. Like, what do you mean the soldiers of the king? If we don't give them this order first, we're going to lose this big order. It's also the king, like word's going to get back to the king, he's going to kill us. He's like, go tell them that I'm dead. She's like, what do you mean? Like, you're not. He's like, well, what would you do if I was dead? Like, you're telling him I'm dead. So she went and she went down, and that's what she told him, that he's dead. I don't even know how the story ended, but the idea is that when a person is busy learning, and the idea is that a person is meant to make it as if they're dead to the world. As far as I know, that the story ended off well. But what the lesson we can learn from the Rashash is that is that when a person is busy learning, he has to make himself as if he's dead to the entire world. And this is something not only in learning, this is also in many times in life, especially nowadays with new technology and smartphones, etc. Especially when trying to have time with ourselves or times with our family, we tend to no, we need to bring our phone with us in case somebody needs to be in contact with us. And they need us. What do you mean they need us? And you have to just think to yourself, what happens if we're dead? Then what would they do to us? Then what would they do? People will figure out a way to deal with it. So too, when we're trying to, there's many times in life that we can't let our phones become a distraction for us, and technology be a distraction for us. When we're bonding with family, bonding with ourselves, whatever it is, we have to make it to the world as if we are dead. Wishing everyone an amazing Shabbos.